Good evening. We're continuing the Taryag Mitzvot series, the 613 series. And before I would, last week we got to mitzvah number 540. And we will continue, Bezrat Hashem, 2 to 3 more lectures, and the series will be over, Bezrat Hashem. More and more people discovering it, because everyone who likes it, then he gives it to others, and many Jews finally, for the first time ever, starting to understand what the mitzvot are. Because I'm telling you, and I'm not exaggerating, that there are people who knows very well Gemara, but they cannot tell you even 10% of the list by heart. By heart. With a book, everyone can read. And not to talk about, to explain the meaning of every mitzvah, it's not so simple. There's a lot of material to know. But I would like to start with one or two announcements. If you're going into my website now, you probably realize that on the top we put a banner. There's a raffle now. It's Yeshiva Tiferet Torah. It's yeshiva that I spoke there a few times, high school yeshiva, guys that come in average level and they bring them up and they take care of them and they give them, Baruch Hashem, the right education. So they're doing this raffle every year, $25,000 first prize. And it's a combination. Everyone who buys the raffle, most of the money goes to the yeshiva, but they also share with the people who sell the tickets. So you can help Torah and Kiruv at the same time, saving souls and learning Torah at the same time. So that's one announcement. Second, on Facebook, everyone who doesn't have Facebook, may he never have. Let's start with that. The ones who already spend time on it, I hope they do it in the right place, that at least they're listening to Torah lectures instead of wasting time and going to make averot, sins. But if you're already there, please do not be egoistic. When I say egoistic, what I mean is that you have to share with all your friends. What's the point? If you have 200-300 friends and you hear just a lecture now, or a link to a lecture, or a good article, and you just close the computer and leave, that's, first of all, it's very foolish, because by clicking 1 or 2 buttons, you can just, it's count like you just gave a lecture to 200-300 people. The more friends you have, the more listeners you may have. If you can forward it to them and you're not, it's not a joke, it's a serious crime. That's what people don't understand. Something that you can do and you show that you don't care, you have by clicking few buttons to share the Torah with another 1,000 Jews, or 500, or even 20, or even 5. Doesn't matter. Anyone on the list may open it and watch it, and may never be the same person. So by clicking few buttons, you could have done it and you didn't care. Besides that, you'll never forgive yourself when you come to the world of the truth, how much you lost for it. Think about how angry Hashem will be at you when he see that you didn't care bichlal. That we're not talking that you had to drive 2 hours and give them a 2 hours lectures and then drive 2 hours back and to do it every day. That's not what we're talking here about. We're talking clicking few buttons and sharing it with others, and you don't do it, it shows who you are. That's it. There's no explanation, no excuses, nothing whatsoever. Sometimes people don't do it because of lack of attention. They're not paying attention. That's why I came to wake them up. Wake up before it's too late. What other things? Okay, also we added to the website a few days ago a possibility. I know people asked me in the past, but by me, unfortunately, things are moving very slow. They asked me, why don't you have an automatic charge that people can charge on the credit card monthly from their maser, and automatically charge the car, and nobody has to, people forget, they want to do it, they forget, they're busy. Every time they have to do it again, like this, it charged the card automatic, so we finally did it. Everyone wants to use this maser money to make CDs. The CDs is a game of number. You put 100s on the street, many people would start keeping mitzvot, fully, partially, learn Torah, become more modest, do eat kosher, all kinds of things. Put mezuzah, get tefillin. Everything they do comes to your account forever. We repeated it hundreds of times in the past. Hopefully we don't have to do it again, but this is an opportunity. It can be any amount. People, I now recently started to have people who donate $5 per month. And they write an apology. They said, I'm very sorry, I wish I can give more. Please accept it like it's a big donation. Sometimes this $5 is more touching than a much bigger donation, because you see how hard it was for the person to give $5. On one hand, you're excited. On one hand, you feel very bad that people who wants to do, they can't. But those who can and do not do, that's already very big responsibility, because when you come in front of Hashem and you say, did you do something for your nation, for your brothers, for your sisters? There's anything you did for them? The answer will be no. Then they'll say, did you give your 10%, your maser? No, so basically I gave you the money and you kept it in your pocket. Not only you did not care about the others, you stole the money. Because 10% is not yours, you got to give out. Don't just keep it in your pocket. I'm just using you as a messenger to pass it. So this is what I always say, and this is the announcement I wanted to make. Okay, now, mitzvah number 540, last week, the last mitzvah that we did was that when you see the animal, the donkey of your friend is collapsing, you have to go and help him to bring the donkey up. And from that we said that Chazal learned, if the donkey of your friend is collapsing, and you're not allowed to ignore him, when your Jewish brother and sister is collapsing, he needs help, he needs mental help, he needs financial help, and definitely to save his soul, which is the greatest help you can give a Jew, you're not allowed to ignore him. This is where we learn from a donkey of a Jew. A donkey of a Jew, you have to have mercy on him, you have to put your stuff on the side, come, pick him up, help him to get back on his feet. A donkey? Who cares about the donkey now? I don't want to get my suit dirty. Doesn't matter, you don't have a choice. So, needless to say about your brother and sister that they're collapsing or drowning, you cannot walk by pretending you're not seeing it. Mitzvah number 541 is mitzvah number 540 was not to leave the donkey of your friend after it collapsed, not to leave him on the ground. Mitzvah number 541 is exactly the same mitzvah, but in a positive language. Before it said, do not leave the donkey on the floor. Now it say, help to pick up the donkey from the floor. Same mitzvah. One time, don't leave him on the floor, it's a lav. Pick him up, it's mitzvah aseh. Two mitzvot from the 613 is about the donkey of your friend, right? So it's just to show you how a person has to have mercy on animals, needless to say on people. That's, by the way, the answer to all these, I don't know if to call them ignorant Jews or not, that think that the goyim don't have a value. That's a big mistake, because if Hashem cares about animals, of course he cares about people. A donkey cares, doesn't want the donkey to suffer, then of course he doesn't want, he doesn't want any human being not to suffer. All the bad things that was told about the Gentiles is only in one condition, that they are the enemies of Israel and the enemies of God. You understand? Murderers, idols, worshippers, that's all. But just an ordinary person, not only you cannot hate him, Rabbi Chaim Vital, which all the Kabbalah that we know came from him, from the Ari, he writes clearly, it's mitzvah to love them. Mitzvah to love them, right? Unless, if we're talking idols worshipper, one of the 7 nations that we don't know anymore who they are, or Amalek, that's a different story. But since today we do not know anyone who he is, there's no way to know about the Goyim, Amalek, Emori, Girgashi, Knaani, you don't know. So all the things that the Torah was talking about is gone from the world, because you cannot recognize which Goy is this. Goy from here or from there, so you don't know. So the only Goyim you don't have a mitzvah to love and to help, etc., is those who still worshiping idols. Like sometimes in China, Thailand, India, worshiping the cow. That's a different story, because this is despicable people, that they give up the creator of the world for an animal, or for a piece of gold, or for a piece of stone, or for a tree, or for the moon, All kinds of things like this. So we move on. Mitzvah number 542. A woman is not allowed to wear anything that men usually wear. Such as, if today, in our days, if it's a man watch, a woman cannot wear it. If it's men clothing, tie, jackets that designed for a man, woman is not allowed to wear it. Anything, like in the old days, they used to have swords, weapons, spears, all kinds of things that used to make it look like a jewel. That, yeah, it looks with all kinds of stones, like Persian style, all kinds of rubies, supposedly. And, you know, a woman wants now to invent a new fashion, so she takes it, she put the sword. This is the new fashion now. Today they like to invent a lot of mixed fashion. It's against the Torah. Man is a man, woman is a woman. It's two different authorities. Mitzvah number 543, the opposite. A man cannot wear anything feminine. Everything that is unique for women, such as dresses, things like this, you're not allowed to wear. That reminds me, what is it, 17, 18 years ago when I was still in business and I had time to work. So, you know, so I was in Manhattan and one old man came to an interview by me. I had to interview him. I was about 24 and he was 70-something. Already it's a strange situation that I have to interview him. Now he's like supposedly an expert in business with lots of history, and he's full of energy. You know, a person in his 70s, what anxiety he have to become a millionaire. It's like amazing how people never give up until a day before they die. They still have a dream to make it. Can be 80 years old, has already $1 billion cash. What? Well, Mr. X, what's next? We're buying the whole complex by the beach. I knocked down all the buildings. We're going to make 10 buildings, 100 floors each. It's a $5 billion project. When are you going to have time to die? You need some time for it, you know. No, they never give up. When it comes to mitzvot, Rabbi, we still have plenty of time. By money, nobody ever gives up. So this guy comes to me. He say, I saw an ad that you put in a newspaper. I have exactly what you're looking for. I have an idea. I want you to go with me. Let's meet somebody. So, okay, so we decided that we meet somewhere. Now, remember, I only know him one time. I met him. Now, the second time he's coming to meet with me in the intersection in Midtown. All of a sudden, I see he came with a skirt. So I look, I said to myself, what's going on here? In the middle of Manhattan, millions of people walking, everyone looks. He comes with a miniskirt. Walks like this. I say to him, well, what's this? I mean, he said to me, oh, I'm Scottish. This is our tradition. We wear skirts, the men. Now, I don't have to tell you the strange situation. I was afraid that somebody who knows me will pass by and see me walking with him on the street. So guess what? I walk 5 steps in front of him. I say, I know he's an old man. It's hard for him to walk. But this guy had the strength. He walked fast. And I walk faster. Just don't want to be in the same line with him. But he was so busy talking that he didn't have time to tell me, slow down. That's how it was. Like everyone looks. I don't want to be near him, you know. This is it. A man cannot wear women jewelry, cannot wear rings. Anything that is basically for women cannot do. Earrings, all the things that people do. It's only in the last 20 years. Hundreds of years, no man put earrings. All of a sudden, somebody invented it. The man put 1 earring, 2 earrings, 5 earrings, all kinds of things. I was now, when I went to Miami, I saw in the airport a man sitting with his nail and somebody is, you know, painting his fingers, mamash like a woman. This is exactly what the Torah is talking about. All these feminine things, a Jew is not allowed. End of story. Women are not men, man is not a woman. Mitzvah number 544, when you see the nest with the bird, you want to take the mother, right? We cannot take the mother when the chicks or the eggs are there. We have to send the mother, and then we take the chicks and the eggs, we take them, and then when the mother comes, you know, it's called mitzvah shiluach haken. But we're not allowed to take them when the mother is still around. You first have to send the mother. Now what happened? Usually it doesn't end with one time. You send the mother away and she comes back. And again, it could be even 100 times sometimes. It's a very precious mitzvah. Leman ya'arichun yamecha, that your life should be long. Here and there, mainly over there. Here, no guarantee. You can be righteous and die young. The Ari HaKadosh died 39. Ramchal, Rav Nachman Breslov, or Chaim, they all die either before 40 or shortly after. There's no indication that if you're the most righteous person in the world, you're going to have long life. You understand? There are rabbis in our generation, by the age of 40, they passed away. I've seen few, and they had very bright future. Hashem has his plans in a creation. Not always when a person die young, it's an indication of a sin he made. Not always when a person live long life, it's an indication that he's righteous. Sometimes it's the other way around. That Hashem has to keep him around to pay him for the few mitzvot he did. And sometimes he did not a lot of mitzvot, but some of them are very valuable. So you got to keep him an extra 20 years here, more than the plan, until he finish paying him for all the mitzvot he did. And he pays him in a way that this person understands, with money, with fame, with glory, with control, with wife, children, grandchildren, things that people want. He pays him until he cleans him from all his reward. So mitzvah number 545, it's now, before we say, you're not allowed to take before you send. Now it's the same mitzvah in a positive language. How many times we've seen in the Torah the same mitzvah repeat in two different versions? Same mitzvah, one time is you should not, one time is you should do, and it's the same transaction. By violating this transaction, automatically you make two sins, positive and negative, mitzvat aseh and lav, for the same thing. Same thing here. לשלח את האם מן הקן קודם שיקח הבנים. Send the mother, now it's positive commandment. Send the mother. Before, do not take, before you send the mother. You should not take. Now, send the mother. Same thing, same transaction, just different language. Very interesting. Why? To double the punishment or the rewards. Depend who you are. Then, mitzvah number 546, mitzvah to make a rail. A person build himself a house, like in Israel. The private houses is not, usually here it's all like a triangle shape. The roof, they make it like this, that the water will go down. In Israel, sometimes they make the roof flat. So if you have a square roof, flat, what do you need to do? You have to make a rail or a wall around it, why people can fall down. So what happens is, if you want to move in for a week, and then you say, well, nobody goes down to the roof anyway, so when I have some money, I'll call the contractor to make a rail or something. It's not allowed. Every second you're there, it's a sin. What happens if you bought yourself a beautiful house and you have 10 stairs going up to the front door? You must put rails on the side. Why? Kids can fall down to the side. Something can happen. So if you keep it like this, not safe, in the meantime you can put something temporary. 2 pieces of wood to block it or something. But if you keep it like this, is jeopardy, then every second is a sin. Every second. You have to make sure that it's secure. If you have a pool in your house, you must have a fence. Even if you yourself don't have little children. Let's say your youngest son is 7 and he knows how to swim, so really there's no danger. What happened tomorrow? Your sister come with her children. Hundreds of Jewish kids drown or have brain damage because people neglected this mitzvah. That the Torah says you must have rail, fence, anything. The idea is obvious. You do not leave any high places or places of danger without a door or something to surround it that protect the people from falling. It's mitzvah taseh from the Torah. Mitzvah number 547, not to put any trap in front of people, which means, for instance, you want to dig a hole in the ground. Let's say you need sand. So you go out to the street, you go in a place, you dig a big hole, And then, you know, the leaves are falling, so sometimes the leaves are covering it. Nobody can see the hole. And people walk there. One person will walk. Then all of a sudden, one leg will fall in. He can break his spine. It's a big thing. So if you digged, you have to cover it. You have to cover. You didn't cover. Somebody got hurt, or someone's animal, horse, whatever it is. Then you're responsible for that. Or the same thing I said before. You made stairs, you didn't put rail. That's a trap. Anything that could be a trap, a balloon, gas, kids have access to it. You have explosive material, you have to make fence. If you build yeshiva, you want to make a dorm, you have to put cement, you have to do it, you have to do emergency exit, you have to do smoke detectors. All these things, even though it's the law, of course, of the state, but by violating it, you're not only violating the permits, you are violating the rules of the Torah, because tomorrow when someone will die, you are a murderer. You have to know it. So don't always look to cheat the authorities, because it's cost you another $1,000. Think about cheating Hashem here. Of course, you're not allowed to cheat the authorities, but everybody understands you cheat the authorities is one punishment, you cheat Hashem is a much bigger punishment. So people say, the authorities, I don't care. I'll deal with them. Hashem, I don't want to cheat. No, I cannot run away with him, you know. So it's the same thing. Any kind of a trap. Your car is insecure. You don't have oil, brakes oil. The red light is on. All kinds of problems, and you let somebody drives it. Or the tires are not, the tires are rubbed, wear off. You have to replace them. Now snow, it's going to snow, water, someone can skid. It can cause somebody to die or to be paralyzed. So you have big responsibility. Yeah, sometimes you want to do a favor to a person, you give him something, it's a hazard. Who knows, people can die because of your stinginess or stupidity, depend when. So this is called michshol, where the Torah really mainly speaking in your homes, mainly because most of the problems comes in a person's home. Lo tasim damim bebetecha. Right? Same idea, v'asita ma'ake legagecha. You make a rail around your roof. Right? But that's obviously expands to many subcategories. Mitzvah number 548. You're not allowed to plant in the ground seeds, one close to another from two different kinds that will end up mixing together. That's called kilaim. You understand? So if you put them together and they start, the roots starting to mix one with the other, then you violate the rules of the Torah. The Torah says, Sadecha lo tizra kilaim. Someone who does it violate two rules from the Torah. Shnei lavim. Right? And two kinds. For instance, we have kilei kerem. You have seeds that you put by the grapes, seeds of the grapes. Right? And then something next to it, like chita, seora, wheat, barley, and they get mixed together. It's complicated because you have to know all the rules and all the exceptions to the rules. Over here we speak briefly, just that you know that there are rules when you have a garden, you want to plant two things, you have to keep X amount of distance between one to another. The Gemara speaks about the roots of everything that you plant, how wide it can expand. So the Gemara speak about what happened if you have here and your neighbor is close to you and it started to get mixed because they take the water. So now if you did it too close to your neighbor, you're taking away from him or he takes away from you. You have to pick a wall, you have to do it deep in the ground. There's all kinds of rules. Today we are not farmers, so it looks to us not so important. But believe me, it's very important. It's very important, especially in Israel. There's a lot of farmers, even here. In LA, all these things, but we are talking in Eretz Israel. There are many farmers in the world. Even though they use advanced equipment, all kinds of machinery and computers, still the rules are the same rules. You mix between two seeds, you have a problem. Mitzvah number 549, not to eat kilei kerem be'eretz Israel. Somebody else got mixed. And you want to eat what came out is not allowed in Eretz Israel, in Israel. You know, so a person cannot enjoy from it. By eating it, he's enjoying from it. Not allowed. Mitzvah number 550. Not to do any work with two different animals. For instance, you have an ox and a donkey. you need two animals to pull the plow, right? It makes lines on the field, and then you come with the seeds and you put in, right? So today, I don't know, you don't have two donkeys or you don't have two oxes. So you take one donkey and one ox and you put them together. There's two problems here. First of all, this is the sin. You're not allowed. You have to put two from the same kind. Or one, if you can do it. If not, two, it has to be from the same kind. Why? One reason that when they're together, they may have relation between them. Because animals are animals. They have their own desire. And then it's against the creation of Hashem to mix between different species. So that's one problem. Second, one would suffer. Itzar ba'alei chaim. The ox walks much faster than a donkey. Donkey may be stronger, you can put more weight, but the ox walks much faster. The donkey, imagine you put somebody that is big, muscular, and he has big muscle, and he walks very fast, like an Israeli commander soldier, and you put a person that hardly walks with a cane. So both of you have to walk together. It's a death sentence for the other one. What happened to him? Oh, he suffers until he gets a heart attack and dies. He cannot do it, or he falls. He can fall all the time, you know. So this is a problem. You're not allowed to do it. Mitzvah number 551, not to wear shatnez. Shatnez. What shatnez? A mixture of wool and linen. This is a very problematic issue because many Jews have no idea what I'm talking about now. What does it mean? There is no permission for a Jew, male or a female, even the children, to wear anything that is a mixture of wool and linen. Tzemer v'pishtan, pishtim. Linen is going from the ground, like wheat, barley, so there's linen, like cotton, special kind of cotton, linen. And the wool, everybody knows, it comes from the sheep. You cut the sheep and you make suits, 100% wool. Now sometimes ignorant people that do not know about this, they look at the suit, they see 100% wool. Oh, there's no linen. They don't know that when we say linen, it's enough one stripe that you, like for instance, they sew the button with linen because it's much stronger. If you sew it with regular wool, after a few months, it starts coming out. If you do it with linen, it can stay years. It doesn't come out because it's much stronger. Also in a fancy suit, but not only in a fancy suit, sometimes in garbage suit. Made in Zimbabwe, there's surprises. But usually the Italian fancy suits, such as Hugo Boss, for instance, is almost 100%. Almost all of them has. Armani, it's more than 50%. Rideli, many of these fancy names that people know, usually they have. Where? They have in a collar. Inside the collar, there's a net. There's a piece of net, square, wide. And over there, this is how they sew the collar. They fold it and they sew all around, right? They sew around, they sew it to that net. The job of that net is to make the collar not wrinkled, not wavy. Now, if you put a regular net inside, like from wool, then 1 or 2 rains, that's it. The suit looks like a piece of garbage. By putting linen inside, it keeps it always straight. That's why the fancy designer, they put. Also, usually if they use linen, they use it where the sleeves connects to the jacket. Why? Because since it's very strong, people stretch their arms. Usually you see people have holes in the underarm. But if they use linen, then obviously it's much stronger. So there are ways inside the jacket that they sew certain parts with linen. Me and you cannot check it. You need a specialist. When you go to the specialist, as you can see right here, that's sharpness free. This is what they do. First thing, they take a razor, they cut from the collar, and he puts his finger and touch the net. You and I can touch until tomorrow. We won't know what it makes from. But by touching it already after years of experience, he knows if it's wool or not. Plus, he knows certainties. For instance, after checking so many, every time we see a model of a suit, before even check it, like one time I brought a suit, he said, oh, Ivey, that's Hez. Before we even open it, he already knew it has, by the name. He has statistic. He knows Hugo Boss, 99 out of 100 has. Once in a blue moon, you find one that for whatever reason they didn't make it. So he knows the percentage, the chance that it will have. But many people make mistakes. Sometimes they can bring the same exact suit. You bought 2 pairs for 2 brothers. One for this brother and the same brand, same cut, same design, same color, and both of them made in Italy or made in Mexico, doesn't matter. And one will have, one doesn't have. So if you check one and it didn't have, don't be stingy to save $10 on the other one, because there's a chance that the other one will have. Now, why it is so important not to wear wool and linen? The answer is usually all these secrets is because this is what Hashem say. We don't know Hashem's mind. He sees the entire world, everything. He knows what to say, when to say, how to say. We don't know. We always look for a logical reason, because it makes it much easier for us to do when we see some logic. We have to do one way or the other. But over here there is logic. What's the logic? Hashem says, the first murder in this world occurred because of linen and wool. Linen and wool will never touch each other. I make a decree. What murder? Cain murdered Hevel because of wool and linen. There are few reasons why Cain murdered Hevel. One of the main reasons is that Hevel was born with 2 twins. Remember, the Torah was not given yet. So your sister was just like a stranger. Yeah, you love her because you both grew in the same house, but you can marry her, it's no problem. You can have children with her because there's really no laws yet of relation, of idolatry. None of it existed yet. People were more animals than people yet. Only when the Torah was given, people went from being half animal into 100% human being. Because the way people behave in the world, how many laws they had to keep? 6 laws from the time of Adam until Noach, and from Noach on 7, that's it. 7 laws, which 6 of them is human logic. So really there's not that much to do. So once the Torah was given, all the laws came. You cannot marry this, you cannot marry your aunt, Nidah, the laws of impurity. How you want to touch a woman, you have to marry her first. You want to separate, you have to do it right. All these laws God gave us in Mount Sinai before the world was a zoo. So what happened? Cain was born with 1 twin. Hevel with 2. He was jealous. He has 2 females. I have 1. He's jealous. But what got him to kill him was really this, that God told them sacrifice something. And Hevel was a shepherd, and Cain was a farmer. So he took from his field the linen, and he sacrificed. And Hevel took the best wool, the nicest wool who grew, the cleanest, the nicest. So he brought, and Hashem accepted Hevel's sacrifice. So now he went out outrageous. So he killed him. But he didn't really know what does it mean to kill a person. When you beat up a person, today you know that if you hit him with a stone on his head, you can kill him and he'll never get up. But remember, he never saw a dead person. How do I know that by breaking his head he's going to be dead and his soul comes out? There's no way to know yet. That's why Hashem didn't kill him. Because he was half innocent. Yeah, he did something wrong. He should not fight. But he really didn't understand the outcome of you can kill a person and he's gone. So Hashem made him a protection because it's like a not intentional killing. And like you send the murderer to a shelter city, Hashem made him a shelter. So, but Hashem say, because of wool and linen, the first murder happened, they can never get mixed together. Now, did you ever wonder, when you enter the airplane, when you want to fly, before you enter the plane, the noise is, in America, I don't see it so much because you go from the building into the plane. But in Israel, the plane is standing somewhere and you go with a bus. And then when you get off the bus, you make few steps and then you get on a plane. But those few steps, you hear the noise of the plane. Even the plane is not in full gas. It's only, the engine is only off. There's already so much noise. But when you walk 1 step into the plane, the door is still open, you don't hear anything. You don't hear inside the plane is very quiet. How is it possible? Imagine if you put a plane right on the other side of the wall here. This whole building would shake. You couldn't hear each other from the noise of the plane. But as soon as you walk in, you don't hear. Why? The walls of the plane is full of shatnez mix. It's preventing noise. That's what they use for insulation inside the walls. They put this special wool inside, and it makes noise not travel. The shatnez guy in Monsey told me all the people who died from cancer, he asked their wives to bring their clothes one by one to check, and all of them had shatnez, at least 1 or 2 suits. Even people who check sometimes forget. Shatnez, if you play with the letters, it gives you the word Satan az, very strong devil. Strong devil, Satan az. And it causes a lot of problem. Someone who wear it, his prayers does not get accepted for 40 days straight. That's why when we have secular people come for Yom Kippur, they're starting to become religious, they come to the yeshiva in Monsey. First thing I check if they know anything about shatnez. If not, I tell them, take off the jacket, pray the entire Yom Kippur without it. Isn't it a shame? You pray 20 hours, and in the end it was all a waste of time. Nothing is getting accepted. You got to be very careful. You don't play with fire. This is one of the most dangerous mitzvot for the health. So you check. Now remember, if it's 100% cotton, you don't have to check. Usually they tell you right away the pants doesn't need a check, besides very few models. It's only about the jackets. Children also, you have to check for them. You want your children to wear shatnez, chas v'shalom, something can happen to them. Women jacket, coats, everything that has any kind of wool must be checked. Must be checked. Sometimes it's 100% linen. The chance that they will put wool in there, it's very, very small, but better to be on the safe side, to make sure that by mistake they didn't use some, maybe they ran out of linen, so they used wool. You know, all the stripes that they get, they sometimes can use wool. It looks almost the same. When I went to the shatnez guy, he has a laboratory, he has a microscope. He put two strings, one next to another. For you, it looks exactly the same. He shows you how the linen looks, how the wool looks. So it looks like the bamboo, you know, the bamboo that we put on a schach in a sukkah, that's how it looks. With all kinds of lines like this. Based on the lines, you can know, with the microscope, it makes it like 100 times bigger. He can tell you, sometimes he himself has a doubt. He has to look with the light, with the microscope, and he can tell you which one is what. So you have to be careful with that. This is mitzvah number 541. Mitzvah number 552, to marry a woman with kiddushin. 3 things make the woman your wife. One is, she has to agree first. You offer her to marry you, she say yes, you give her some kind of a gift. Why you have to give her something? Something that has any value. In our days, a quarter, right? Even a quarter, she agreed to accept it, even though, of course, it's symbolic, but it has a value. There's not something you can buy with that, a gum, I don't know what. She accepted that, that's it. She doesn't ask for that. If she agrees and she receives, it doesn't have to be a ring. The custom over the years became that you put a ring. But anything valuable, such as a shirt, can give her a watch, can give her a book, anything that has any kind of value, or a coin, and she agreed. Now, officially, she became your wife. 2 witnesses, only if they shomer Shabbat. If they're not shomer Shabbat, you have to get remarried again. Many people who did not know, they brought their secular friends to become their witnesses, and one of them is not shomer Shabbat, the other one maybe yes, but one not. They have to get remarried. Officially, they're not married. Because Mechalel Shabbat cannot be a witness in any case, not only in marriage, in murder case, in anything else, cannot be a witness. So you have to be very careful. Sometimes the rabbis, they bring somebody with them to the wedding because they know it's a secular wedding, so he brings either his driver or his assistant. They both shomer Shabbat, so the rabbi and the assistant signed on a ketubah because they don't know anybody is religious here, no one. The entire place, not one religious person. Usually it happens in a kibbutzim in Israel. When you go there, they even serve pork inside the wedding. So what do you expect from them? To be shomer Shabbat? You understand? So this is what we're having today. So the Rambam writes, before the Torah was given, a person came to a woman on the street, I like you. Do you like me? Let's move in together. That's it. They don't need to get married, no witnesses, no nothing. After God gave us the Torah, He made us people. We're not anymore, like I said, half animals. That's it. Those days are over. We became the children of God. The Goyim, until today, do not need to get married. They waste their time, all this the ceremonies, wasting money, bringing the priest, bringing the Arab Muslim Qadi to make a wedding. This is all man-made laws. They don't need. Mustafa and Fatma love each other. They say, let's get together. They move in. They can have children tonight. No problem. It's not a sin. They want one day to separate. They say goodbye. It was nice meeting you. Goodbye. And now they can go in with somebody else. While they're living together, they're not allowed to cheat on each other. But that's it. There's no marriage by the Goyim. Until today, their laws never changed. The same laws that they had from the time of Noah until now applies to them. Nothing changed. Jews is different. God gave them the Torah, and the Torah, they have to get married. That's why everything they do, they copy from us. They saw that the children of God having a ceremony with witnesses, with the rabbi, so they made an imitation. They brought a priest, this, they also signed, whatever. But it's really not necessary by them. They don't need. So Chris, like Christine, they like to move in together. It's not a sin. Tomorrow she wants to say goodbye to him. She wants another boyfriend. Not a sin. They live, they do whatever they want. But a Jew will go with a woman without Kiddushin is a horrible sin. One of the worst in the Torah, especially when she's nida all the time. Horrible sin. And he make her in a very bad status. She was in a kosher status, and he violated her status. There's a lot of problems here. It's choteh, machti, karet, all the problems you can think of. And people do not know. And then they wonder when they get married later, boyfriend and girlfriend, after they made all the sins in the world, why they don't have one moment of peace or one moment of blessing in their marriage. Because when you make sins before, when it was all illegal, something who start corrupted will not become good. There's no magics. You started at bad, expected to stay bad and worse. You started at kosher. That's why sometimes when I meet couples like this, first thing to separate between them. Time out. Few months time out. You want to get married? You work on yourself, Shabbat, modesty, kosher, all the things that a Jew needs. Now when he comes to yeshiva, she goes to Midrashia. After total separation, now you want to go again on a date? You go a few dates, or you already more or less know each other. You'll be surprised. Sometimes after the separation, he learns Torah. She goes to Midrashia to learn. They don't want each other after a few months. They don't want to hear from her, and she doesn't want to hear from him. Why? They only had harmony between them because the Satan was promoting it. Because he's very happy to make us make horrible sins. Once they became kosher people, they don't like each other. That's called mayim gnuvim im taku. Stolen water are sweeter. And I always say, how do you know there's Yetzer Hara when it comes to men and women sins? How do you know? You take a man, you take him to a place, a party, and you show him two women, identical twins. Same exact face. Same body, same clothing, same everything. One single, one married. Who is he attracted more to? Man. Always the married. They made experiments about it. He's attracted more to the married one. Why? It's not allowed. It's sweeter. It's adventure. Wow, it's exciting. Who makes it in his mind? Wow, what an exciting thing. The Satan. Later, the same Satan come to his trial to testify about what he did. It's a genius, this Satan. What do you think? It's the oldest crook that we ever had. Cheat us all the time. I hope I'm not starting a battle with him now. You know, one rabbi made that mistake in the Gemara. The Satan almost destroyed him. The Gemara said there was a rabbi named Flamo. Every day say, may an arrow will go right in between the eyes of the Satan. So he offended him. The Satan didn't like to hear from a holy rabbi like this such comments. So one time he came in a custom. He's an angel, so he can come any way he wants. Of a poor man with like leprosy, like this, pus all over his body. Help me, I'm dying, I'm starving. So okay, let me go to stay right here. He saw the way he looked. Stay here, I'm bringing you food. By the time he got food, he fell in his house and died. And the Satan made noise outside. Flamo killed a poor man. Flamo was his name, the rabbi. Flamo killed a poor man. When he heard that like this, people are screaming outside, so right away he ran outside from the town. It was Erev Yom Kippur, poor Rabbi. Instead of going out to the shul to do tshuva, he had to run to hide in a bathroom. The bathroom in those days were far away from town, that he won't smell in the middle of town. It wasn't like today, pipe, sewer. Those days today it's luxury. He had to go to a big hole that they dig. Every once in a while they cover it and they move the bathroom to another location. You know? And that's how it was. No light, no nothing. If you have to go at night, snakes, scorpions, horrible life. No toilet paper, people complaining. You know, Rabbi, this is cheap toilet paper. One guy told me, I went to that hotel. So I'm thinking to myself, imagine if he lived 100 years ago, he needed to cut leaves from the tree. Then we'll see what he had to say. You understand? Even the millionaires. The millionaires, what do you think they did? That's it. You want to have a shower, you take a shower once a week. If you're lucky, לכבוד Shabbat. Nothing to talk about every day, בכלל. Why? To fill up a bath, to bring water from the well or from the lake, fill it up, put fire underneath, bring pieces of wood, put underneath, light the fire until the bath warms. You know how much work to do it, to do a bath? By the time you go in, it's already from the weather, it becomes freezing again. Not so simple. So people did whatever they can not to take showers. I can't imagine how they dealt with the smell, but anyway, so going back to what we say, so a person now has to marry her by giving her something. She does not accept, they're not married. She said, I don't want, you can put it in her hand, it doesn't matter. She refused. She agreed, she took it, 2 kosher witnesses saw it, that's it, she's married. Now she needs a get. She changed her mind 2 minutes later. She said, you're giving me a quarter? Shame on you, what is this? I wasn't thinking. Give me $1 million. I said, too bad. I bought you already, you're mine. That's why in Hebrew, husband is not like in English. The word husband in English doesn't have a meaning. It's just a word that people made. The word does not indicate about the meaning of the word. But in Hebrew, every word is divine. It's the word of God. He made it. And the word always teaches us what it means. For instance, Baal in Hebrew means owner. Balabait. Where is Efo Balabait? Where is the owner? Baal means owner. Baal means also the first man that had relation with a virgin woman. He's considered her Baal. Milashon Boel, the actual act of relation called Be'ilah. If it's forbidden, it's called Be'ilat Znut. Be'ilah Znut, forbidden relationship. You understand? That's why, according to the plan of the master of the world, the creator, he made a woman with a seal that everyone would know if he's really her husband or not. You understand? A man can marry more than one woman. That's why he doesn't need any sign. He's allowed more than one. But a woman is not allowed. One man, that's it. If he died or they got divorced, then she has second chance, yes. But one man, no high school boyfriends. You understand? And nobody is educating the children, the youth today, that the things that they do will destroy their life. That's why 70% divorce, and nobody understands what's going on. Just like the story of Chachmei Chelem. They have a bridge, and the bridge has a big hole, and all the cars who come on the bridge fall into the ocean. So the committee of the city of Chelem decided to fix the problem. So what did they say? Let's make a hospital right where the people fall, that we can go get them from the water and bring them right into the emergency room. Until one person say, you fools, you're investing billions to make hospitals. Just close the hole, $5,000, you fix the place, finished. Today, instead of teaching the children, just listen to God, because He is not making mistakes. He said, don't touch anyone until she become your wife, or until he become your husband. For your own good, not only in this world, for eternity, because that's how it was always. Until a few hundred years ago, everyone, even the non-Jews knew that. Everybody understand that. So instead of teaching them what needs to be taught, they tell them use protection, do this, be careful, you know. That's what's happening today. So, second thing is, Once a person has chuppah and kiddushin with his wife, the marriage is not 100% completed. It's 100% marriage. She's a married woman. Person who had relation with her in this status, even though her husband never touched her yet. Never touched her. Assume, chas v'shalom, in the end of the wedding, he had an emergency, I don't know, heart attack. They took him to the hospital for 1 month. And then she went and cheated with another man. She has the ring, ketubah, everything, but her husband didn't have a chance to touch her. So she's thinking, who knows, maybe he'll die, maybe he'll never get up, he's in coma, whatever. So she went with someone and made a scene. Both of them has to be executed. You understand? If they don't get executed here, Hashem will execute them. They cannot run away from it. Why? It's considered a married woman. But if the husband was with her, which means she's not a virgin anymore, now it's a much bigger sin. It's a bigger sin, but smaller punishment. How can it be? Usually the punishment indicates about how big is the sin, right? If you get $100 penalty, or you get electric chair, you don't know what the sin of this criminal. You don't know the crime. You just heard by downstairs in a court in downtown, one guy got $100 fine, one guy got electric chair. Now they ask you, tell me, who made a bigger crime? You said, the one that got electric chair. How do you know? You were there? No, I use my head. What do you think? That the one who got electric chair get a bigger, he was making a bigger sin from the one who got $100 fine? Maybe in Sodom and Gomorrah it was like this, but in a normal place, no. But over here, Hashem gave a woman that still was not with her husband a bigger punishment than when after she was with her husband. Why? Because all the fools will think it's not as bad. Her husband didn't touch her yet. So it's not as bad. I can still make the sin. After her husband was with her, then obviously she's a married woman. She said, no. She's a married woman from the moment he put the ring and the 2 witnesses saw it, finished. No man can ever touch her finger. Nothing. You understand? That's why the punishment of someone who touched her before she was with her husband is stoning, which is the worst punishment. And after she was with her husband, it's burning, which is the second worst punishment. Second, reversed. Why? To prevent people from not understanding that it's the same. It's both of them big sins. Mitzvah number 553. A married woman, she has to stay forever married to a person who made her bad reputation. Let me explain. When a person wants to marry a woman, he gives her husband money, they agree, everything fine, all the conditions. He signs in a ketubah that he will support and protect his wife and give her everything she needs and satisfy her. There's a list of requirements. What happened now when they move into the house? He comes the next day to the Beit Din, to the Jewish court, and say to the rabbis, I have a problem. They fooled me. They said that my wife, she's a virgin, and now I went and I found out she's not. I want to cancel the whole thing. That's called mekach ta'ut. That's called deceiving. It's canceling the marriage. You don't need a divorce. You don't need to sign a divorce now. The marriage never took place. Same thing if a person has a sickness that there's no cure, such as, for instance, AIDS, and he didn't tell her. And now after the marriage, then 2 days later, somebody come and tell her, here, this is his blood results. He said, she said, you never told me that. If I knew, I'd never agreed to marry you. So that's misleading. It's the same thing you buy a car without an engine. Or the engine is, they just put something in it that it will drive another 5 miles. But that's it, like sometimes the dealers do. Right? So what do? All you have to do is just you must get your money back. There's no deal. You understand? And whatever happened, he has to give you back the money because it's misleading. You sold something, claiming it's something else. You know, so everybody understand that. You say it's 18 karat the gold, and in the end it was, I don't know, less. So right away, the deal is canceled. You don't say to him, okay, I'll give you back the change. You have to give him everything back, all the money. There's rules about it. If he agreed to take the change, fine. But if he demands to get all his money, even if he was using it for a year, you must give him all the money. He drove the car a year. But now you found out that he told you that this car is a Toyota, and in the end it was made in Zimbabwe. So right away, you have to give you back the money. Same thing over here. If there was any defect that she hid or he hid and they did not tell each other, the Gemara in Masechet Ketubot say which defects cancel the marriage, which one not. There's a list of things. So what happened right now? If he comes and claims she wasn't a virgin and he's lying, she was, but he makes her bad reputation. The reason he does it because he wants to get out of the marriage. Something went through his mind. His ex-girlfriend remember now that she wants him back after he was waiting for her 5 years. And now he wants to go and how do I get out? She doesn't want to get divorced. We just got married yesterday. So he make up a lie. Oh, you know what? They're lying. She was already with somebody. And he comes to the court. If she's able to prove that he's lying, now what? Guess what? He cannot divorce her ever again. Now I want to ask you a question. Is this a prize or a punishment? Is it a reward or punishment? I don't understand. For the woman, he made her bad reputation, so now everyone speaks about her on the street. Remember, in those days, a woman that was not virgin, her chance to get married was close to zero. Only someone without legs, or someone without eyes, or someone who looks like a monster that anyway can never get married, so he agreed to take a woman that is not virgin. No normal person would ever think about such a thing. And if you offer somebody something like this, it will be the biggest insult. So you're offering me a girl that was made a sin with someone? Who do you think I am? Today, they give them prizes. Oh, she has experience in life, Rabbi. You understand? They put her on television and give her a nice car, new contract to be a model of whatever. So that's what happened when the world has no Hashem in it sometimes. Nobody knows about Hashem, the truth. So what's happening now? Since he did that, the court forced him to keep her his wife forever, which means he has to give her money, clothing, everything. You understand why? That's of course only if she wants. She doesn't want, she want to get out, they let her get out. But if she wants, that means, which means what we're saying here now, the same thing when a person rape a woman. If he rape a woman, he has to be her husband forever. So everybody asks, not only you rape, now you want to murder her? What kind of a punishment is this? Person went to rape a woman, now they say, okay, now he's going to be your husband forever. You have to understand the psychology of those days. A woman that was not a virgin, that's finished. She will die single. So now he comes to her and says, I'm sorry, I did it not because I love you, it's this, I just, the Yetzirah, whatever, I make it up to you, I buy you this, please give me another chance. She agree, that's it. But sometimes, let's say he doesn't want. They tell him, that's it, you're stuck with her, you can never divorce her. Why? Nobody else would marry her. You understand what's going on here? So what's better? She wants children. She knows if she gets divorced right now, right, nobody will ever marry her. She'll never have children. So sometimes a woman says, you know what, let me marry him just so that I can have children. I don't care about him. I want to have 2, 3 children of my own. I don't want to die lonely. That's her mind. So she says, you know what, I'll agree. That's what's happening. I know people that automatically, to begin with, agreed to get married with no love. They're not interested to be in relationship. She agreed to go with a man just because she wanted kids. And they make an agreement. And then he made her pregnant. She said she signed that she won't ask for money. She just wants a kid. Sometimes she even paid him money to agree such a thing. And that's it. She doesn't want to be married. She just wants to have 1 or 2 kids. The world is, like I said, very crazy today. But there are people who are doing these things. There's a lot of complications with these things. Usually, you don't play with people's life. It's not business here. But someone who made bad reputation to his wife, that's mitzvah number 554, can never divorce her. Before, you have to be married to her forever. Positive commandment. You should. Now, you should never divorce her. Same transaction, 2 sins from the Torah. Mitzvah number 555, every person who was convicted in a Jewish court by one of the violations that he has to be executed, has to be put to death. The Jewish court must put him to death without replace it with any other punishment. For instance, if you have to be stoned to death, and he comes and says, listen, I have $2 billion, I'll donate $1 billion to all the yeshivot, to the synagogue, don't kill me. What's the point of killing me? Now I'm going to give my money to my children. They're not religious anyway. You're killing me because I'm Mechalel Shabbat? Don't kill me. I give you $1 billion and I moved to Japan. You never see my face again. So they should have been very happy. What does it give us, putting him in a grave? We get $1 billion, the whole yeshivot can learn 5 years without problems, no? Lots of Torah. We help the widows, the orphans. Very, very tempting. Torah says, no, there's a lot more into that. You know, so it has to be put. If it's stoning, that's it. Now, I know it's controversial. I know it's killing you to hear the truth. But what can I do? I have no permission to modify the Torah or to say something different than what the creator of the world wrote in his book. If I had the power, believe me, I will cover. Push down. Who wants to be nasty? People hate you, remember you as fanatic speaker. You know, oh, don't go to his lecture. He describes stoning in his lecture. Do you know any other rabbi who ever speak about these things? What can I do? This is the mitzvah. Mitzvah number 555. 555. Against Ayin Hara. 555. This is what it says. Let me read. No offense. If you are one of the violators, change. Don't blame the punisher. Change that you don't have to get the punishment. It's much better. Change. What is it? What is it stoning? Anybody here knows what stoning is? First of all, if it's a man, they make him naked. They give him something to cover the place of the erva, and that's it. The rest is completely naked. If it's a woman, they make her wear a special pajama, like a dress, like they wear in hospitals, and they take them to a place. It's like a building 2 floors high, and there's a hole down there. And after they do the vidui and they ask for Hashem to forgive them, they push them. They push them from the top. Who has to push him? The 2 witnesses that testify that he was Mechalel Shabbat. The ones who came and saw, we saw this person, we gave him a warning, we told him, you're not allowed to give water to your grass on Shabbat, or to the plants. And he said, leave me alone, you fools. What do you think? I'm not so religious. Then the next hour they came and they saw him doing it again. After the warning, they go and tell the police. The police arrest him, they bring him to court, they question the witnesses with hundreds of questions to make sure it's not a conspiracy. After they answer all the questions correctly, they know they're really describing the real scenario, then they sentence him to death. Now, if you know on Shabbat, when we do Kiddush, or in a wedding, or everywhere else, we say, Savri Maranan. That's why he bought me this glass. It looks like wine. It's okay, it's tea. Everyone say L'chaim. Why everyone say L'chaim? Because in the execution, he has to hold a glass of wine, but real wine. Not like today, mix 14% water and they clean all the pieces. There's hardly any alcohol, 10, 12, 14%, already people get dizzy. So he's holding it, it's minimum 50% alcohol. And the pieces of the grapes are inside, right? And once they say, Savri Maranan, the decision of the rabbis, and the representative of the court say, Lamavet, to death, he say, Lamavet. We say L'chaim, because we do mitzvah. We're not getting killed, Baruch Hashem. The mitzvot is life. It gives you life of eternity. So when someone say, when he does a kiddush, sanctify the Sabbath, we say, Savri Maranan, this is the law of the Chachamim, to make wine on a grape, on kiddush. When you make kiddush, you do it on wine. The rabbis, the sages made it. So we say L'chaim, but the same rabbis, when they convicted a person in a violation that is execution, then they say, Lamavet, he drinks it right away. From this moment on, he's in the 7th moon already. He doesn't know what's going on anymore. You know, they take him like this, with his naked like this to the place. He doesn't feel anything anymore. Once he drinks the wine, that's it. They push him in, he dies. If he did not die, they have a big rock that they push and it falls on him. And if he still didn't die, It's very scary. Every time I describe it, I get chills all over my body, because I'm thinking to myself, the Hashem, the merciful God, said that this is the punishment of a Jew who is not Shomer Shabbat. And thinking about thousands of Jews who are calling themselves traditional, I love Hashem, I pray, I read Tehillim, I give tzedakah, and in the end they violate Shabbat. And this is what the Torah says to do, and it's horrible. Think about it. The same merciful God said that this is what this Jew deserves. How people don't wake up. Today we don't have the temple, we don't have Sanhedrin, so there's no more executions. For 2,000 years, no execution. There's no execution by the Jewish court for the last 2,000 years, since the temple was destroyed. But it doesn't really matter. Forget it. Just to read that this is the opinion of God about you, how can you ever dare to do a violation again? Just to know that your Creator will supply you with oxygen, this is what He thinks that you deserve. How can you live another moment? How? Sometimes people write me email, I started to listen to your lecture, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right away I answer, and what about Shabbat? Not yet. So, if they push the rock and he's still not dead, everyone is waiting with rocks, size of a melon, and they throw it on his head and save him from his misery. And after that, what they do with his body? Hang it on a tree. Like they hung Yossi. Same thing. For how long? Until sunset. Becomes dark. Then they must take the body off and bury it. When they hang it on a tree, 5 minutes before sunset. Why? They didn't want to keep him for hours. It's a big embarrassment. Imagine the president of the bank, naked like this on a tree. Yeah, he's Makom Ervais cover. Still, he's like this, crucified on a tree. They hang him. So what happened now? They don't want to keep him like this for hours. So they wait. If sunset is 5 to 6, quickly they hang him. Everyone walks by and see this is what a person who goes and rebel against God, this is his end. That everybody should get scared not to go to the same direction. And right away they take him off, they bury him, and this is it. So if you know anyone still mechalel Shabbat, if he's a coward, don't show him this lecture. If he's an honest person who can handle the truth, don't leave him alone until he watch it. You know, your friends. Most people live in a lie. There's no point of even telling them that, because not only they won't appreciate that you try to help them, they'll hate you. Yeah? You know, I have a large group, it's growing every week, of more and more anti. Why? The truth of the Torah bothers them. But they don't understand that there's nothing to do with the speaker, the postman who brings you a bad letter from someone. You blame him. What do you want from him? He's just doing his job. The opposite, you tell him, thank you. Without this, I wouldn't know my situation. Now I can handle my situation. But of course, it's much easier to be angry at the speaker than to be angry at your Creator. You already have problems with him. What do you want? To make the situation worse? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה bidvaro. L'chaim. Okay, so mitzvah. There are 4 different kinds of executions: stoning the worst, then burning, and then sword, and then choking. Stoning, we just explained. Mitzvah number 556, not to punish someone who was forced, like someone who had a choice. For instance, if we saw a Jew mechalel Shabbat, and then they say to him, why are you doing it? And apparently later we found out that this boy was kidnapped, and he was doing it to save his life, whatever. Somebody like this, you don't give any punishment. Why? It's pikuach nefesh. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking now, someone comes to you and say, listen, if you don't do this and this and that, right, I'm going to break every bone in your body. You're afraid from the pain, so that's why you did the violation. It's not the same like you just want your grass to be greener. Nobody puts gun to your head. It's not the same. You're still a very big sinner. You're still violating the rule. But to execute you, if there was pressure on you by someone and took away your choice, then they cannot execute you just like they do to someone who chose to make a sin. Same thing a girl. A girl that was raped in the field, she's not guilty. Why? Even if she did not scream, you don't blame her. Why? Who would hear in the middle of the desert or the field? But if she got raped in town, in the middle of the street, and people walk by and they testify that she did not scream, she did not make a beep, she's a sinner. Because remember, you know what's the difference? If she screams, she tried to protect herself, fine. So you don't do anything to her, because he is the sinner and she's not. She's forced. But if she cooperates, and then she said, no, I didn't really make a sin. He was forcing me. What do you mean forcing you? Forcing you didn't scream? Now we're not talking you put a knife to her neck, that's why she didn't scream. We're not talking, that's only in the movies usually. We're talking now they went to a club, they drank l'chaim, and that's what happened. And in the end she said, no. Wow, hard to believe. So, mitzvah number 567, a rapist must marry the one who he raped to be his wife if she agree. If she doesn't agree, he's dismissed. But if she agreed, then he's stuck. And, you know, it says he has to give her father 50 coins of silver, which is a lot of money in those days. And the reason the Torah did it, because everyone who would do such a thing know that you're stuck with this girl for the rest of your life. And there's nothing you can do. They'll never let you divorce her. You pay for her, you buy her what she needs, everything. You have your obligations to her. Plus, it's going to be a big embarrassment, because everyone points at you in the street. You see this? You know why he's with her? Because he's an animal. It's going to be an embarrassment forever. Forever and ever. Mitzvah number 558. The same thing I just said in a negative language. That the rapist is not allowed to divorce the woman that he raped ever. Not allowed to divorce her. That's love. Mitzvah number 559. Someone who cannot have children, right, cannot marry a Jewish girl. Now let me explain. Don't get panic. Wait. Don't rush. Someone that had an accident. Whether it was, like for instance, animal hit him, a horse ran and ran into him, and from that moment on he cannot have sperm anymore. That's it. It destroyed his system. Or, you know, or he fell from a place, or a person did it to him, I don't know, stabbed him or anything like that. And he caused him that from that moment on he's unable to have children. The Torah says, לא יבוא פצועה דקה וקרות שופחה בקהל השם. Someone like this cannot be a regular person who married into the nation of God. So, you know that we are not allowed to make animals or people unable to have children. We're not allowed. It's a person, you know, sometimes when they do the city, they see the cats or the rats, they multiply too much, so they do things that they cannot have children anymore. It's against the Torah. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to interfere with the laws of nature. So the Torah says like this. You know, in the old days, the king used to take the guards that works in a women's jail, and they made them impotent, unable to have relation with a woman. That was a part of the job. They paid them a lot of money for the job. But they say, we're only going to make you be a guard in a women's prison after we give you the surgery, that you cannot able to be with a woman. Why? Because they used to rape the women. Nobody sees, and there's no electric. In the old days, they come with a sword, and they do whatever they want. To protect the women, that was the condition. So the Goyim, they can do it. Whatever they do, they do. But we, the Jews, not allowed to do it. Even if you have a reason for it, right? It makes sense sometimes. Doesn't matter. You're not allowed to do it. So someone that it happened to him in the way I described, right? For instance, all the organs of his body that participate in creating seed and making a woman pregnant, if any one of them got defected, right? The cords or anything that from that moment on is not allowed to get married to a woman that he cannot have relation with her. Because a part of the marriage is the male and the female. Now we are not talking, sometimes a person has, like today they have low count of sperms and they can have treatments and all kinds of things, can still make a person pregnant, right? But it's much lower chance. Obviously rabbis marry them all the time. We're talking someone that we know for sure there's no chance that he can have relation with a woman, is not allowed to marry a regular Jewish woman. A mamzer, illegitimate boy that his mother cheated on her husband and became pregnant from another Jew, not from a goy. If she cheated on her husband with a goy, the boy is not a mamzer, like most people think. It's a problem, it's cheating, it's boy out of the marriage, but only if she cheated with another man and both of them must be executed, this boy considered a mamzer, illegitimate boy. And he can never marry any other normal, regular Jew except the Jews that have the same status like him. So if she's a female mamzer, can only marry a male mamzer or a convert. Because the convert was not born Jewish, so the Torah, yes, later he joined the Jewish nation, but the Torah forbidden a mamzer from marry a Jew from birth. Only one in his status or someone who became Jewish later can marry him. So whether it's male that is mamzer, he has to marry female mamzer, or the other way around. The Gemara said that from the mamzerim you see the supervision of Hashem on the creation. That he take one mamzer from one side of the world and one female mamzeret from the other side of the world and bring them all the way to a place and they meet and they get married. And that's the only way they can get married. In Israel, there's a list of kids like this. And when they want to get married, they come to the office and they give them all their possibilities. And that's the only way they can get married. Or, like I say, to converts. But we have to know one more thing. Many of these mamzerim are mamzerim and nobody knows about it. The wife didn't tell her husband that it's not her son. She's afraid something will happen. Maybe kick her out of the $10 million house. So she's not telling him. So what happened? We don't know about him. One day he married a legitimate girl, but she's not an illegitimate girl. She's not a mamzeret. And the kids are mamzerim. One of the two is mamzer, the kids are mamzerim. So now what's going on here? Usually the anonymous mamzerim got killed young before they get to marriage. Because nobody is here to warn us from them. Nobody knows besides the wife and the one who cheated with her. That's it. Sometimes he doesn't even know he made her pregnant. She never tells him. She was with him one time in a hotel something, and he doesn't know her, she doesn't know him. That's it. She became pregnant, and now the boy is mamzer. And he gets married. So before he gets killed. That's why there's a lot of young teenagers in our generation that die, accident, drugs, problem. Nobody knows why. That could be one of the reasons. Someone who is known as mamzer live normal life. He doesn't die young. Why? We know to stay away from him. Torah say, okay, we know he's in the list. In the list, we know who he is. So why he should die young? We know that he can marry only his own kind. So this is the situation right now. Now, to find a married woman and to testify that her children are mamzerim is almost impossible. Let me explain. Because if you saw a married woman coming out with a boyfriend, not her husband, from a bedroom in a hotel, you rented a room in a hallway, you come out, you see a woman that you know from the neighborhood coming out from the hotel with a man, stranger, whatever, you saw them coming out. What did they do there? They didn't play cards. You know, but since you did not see them naked, connected together, you cannot testify on them. You don't know, maybe they have a secret. It could be, there's always 5% chance that they had a secret business meeting and they didn't want anyone to hear, even though she's a foolish woman, she locked herself with another man in a room, it's against the halakha. There's no guarantee that she became pregnant that night, right? So you cannot testify. The only way you can testify on a woman like this is only if you broke in while they were connected together. If it's a minute before, You broke in. She wasn't modest. He's not modest, but you did not see them. Or a minute after, he's in the shower, she's in the room, not modest. You still cannot testify against them. So the chance, how many minutes you have that you can catch them together, it's very, very rare. I had a case like this, that one person came to me and say, you know that man, that boy? I say, yes. He say, guess what happened? What? I brought him to my house. My father recognized him. And he told me, what? Is this boy, his name such and such, his last name? I say, yes. He said, wow, don't be his friend. Stay away from this boy. I said, well, what's the problem? He's a great guy. He's religious. What's the problem? He said, stay away from him, I'm telling you. I know his mother. What? No? So what's the problem? What does he have to do with his mother now? Back where we came from, in the country where we used to live, she couldn't have children, and she wanted to divorce her husband, and he didn't want to lose her, so he gave her permission to go with his friend to make her pregnant, while she's married to him. Such a fool that didn't know that the boy will be mamzerim. He thought he's doing her a favor, and she's going to stay with him. So she went with someone, and she had few kids with him. All this family, they're all mamzerim. And guess what? Few days after I heard that story, I got a phone call to be a reference for the guy, for the shidduch. And I said, Hashem, how you always save me. But I don't, when I have a doubt what to do, right away I call my Rav, I ask him. He told me, you don't have to say that story. Why? The story that that person told you in the name of his father, there's too many question marks here. It's not what the Gemara say, mamzer vadai. A certain mamzer is not allowed. Maybe mamzer is allowed. You cannot prevent him from marrying a Jew, regular Jew. A certain mamzer. How many certain mamzerim you have in the world? 1 out of 1,000 you can make him in this status. Most of them, there's no way to know. It's a question. People talk. They saw her, this, that, yeah, fine. There's a lot of reasons to suspect. There's no official testimony. Think about it. It's incredible. So you say, well, how do you know if really in the end that's because of that? Maybe in the end it's from her husband. There's too many question marks. And even if she admits that it was from that other man, nobody ever saw it. Maybe she's saying it because she wants to get rid of her husband. He doesn't want to give her a get. There's so many maybe. The halacha is so complicated. If you don't know one detail, everything changed. One little detail, everything changed. Time is running out. 5 more minutes. Let's do a few more mitzvot. So mamzer can only marry mamzeret, not regular Jew. Mitzvah number 561, שלא יישא עמוני ומואבי בת ישראל. Goyim from the nation of Ammon and Moab cannot marry a Jew. But Goyot, female from Ammon and Moab, who converted, like Ruth, the grandmother of King David, they are accepted, they can convert. But the male cannot convert. Why? 10 generations before the Torah was saying this restriction, there used to be Avraham Avinu and his nephew Lot. His nephew Lot went to Sodom and Gomorrah to live with all the wicked people. He moved from Muncie to San Francisco. And then while he was in San Francisco, with all the, the people who not everyone, of course, there, but there's a lot, Baruch Hashem, unfortunately, that they do bad things. So he moved to that place, and then Hashem destroyed that place. Big earthquake came, fire came from heaven, and all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and 3 other cities around, they were all destroyed, and Lot got saved. His wife got killed. The sons-in-law of Lot both got killed, and Lot stayed with his 2 daughters. And they thought that God destroyed the whole world. They thought, look, we're the only 3 who came out. Now we're in the middle of the desert somewhere. No people left in the world. Remember, there's no television and iPhone. You can go and check if there are people on the other side of the globe. That's it. The world is over. So they decided, let's sleep with our father. If not, there are not going to be any more babies. That's it. He's going to die, and he's the only man in the world. That's what they thought. So they became pregnant from their father. They let him drink l'chaim. He drank, and he didn't realize so much who is he doing it with, and they got pregnant. One of them called the boy Ammon. Ammon means Ami, for my nation. The boy came from father and a daughter. And one called him Moab. Moab in Hebrew means Me'av, from the father. Very foolish to call your son that everybody know he came from a forbidden relationship. And so those two, the kids that came out, started two nations. The nation of Ammon and the nation of Moab. Many generations later, the Jewish nation comes out of Egypt. They want permission to go through their land. They make problems. And God say, Egyptians, third generation can convert already, which means Paro cannot convert, his son cannot convert, his grandson cannot convert. From the fourth generation on, all the Egyptians are innocent. They want to convert, they want to join my nation, the nation of Israel, they can. But these two nations, Ammon and Moab, can never convert. Never. Only the females. But the male can never convert. Even 10 generations later, you don't ever accept them. Why? That they did not welcome you with bread and water. When you came out of Egypt, they're so ungrateful, these goyim, that instead of running and kissing your hand, we are only alive thanks to Avraham Avinu, he saved Lot. The grandfather of Israel, saved our grandfather Lot a few generations ago. Without it, we wouldn't be here. All our existence is thanks to your grandfather. So not only they did not run to give them water and bread, the Torah didn't say steaks and sushi. Just bread that cost almost nothing and water. So why the female didn't get punished? Because it's not modest that the female will come in front of men. Come, honey. Come, I made you challah. Come. What is this? It's not. Hashem doesn't require it from the women. You better not come and make a fashion show here. Let them pass, then you come out. Since they are not guilty, they can convert. That's why Ruth can convert, and David HaMelech is legit, and the Mashiach come from them. Why? That's it. So Ammoni and Moavi cannot. The next mitzvah, number 562, not to make peace ever with these two nations. God cannot stand ungrateful people. Somebody asks you, tell me, what's the basic of Judaism? To be a grateful person. That's what the Torah educates. That's why blessing, 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 thank you God, praising God, thank you again God, Modim anachnu lach, Baruch atah Hashem, everything, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're grateful, you are tzaddik. You're ungrateful. That's why when I say, why Mechalel Shabbat have such a punishment? Because he's an ungrateful person. God made a covenant with the Jewish nation, and he said to you, I want you to rest, I want you to learn, I want you to sing, I want you to rest from what you do. One day you'll be like me. And he said, I don't care about you. Continue to give me your oxygen. Continue to give me a house to live. Give me children. Give me money. Give me health. Give me everything I have. And don't bother me with request. This is what Mechalel Shabbat is. This is what he is. But he's not always aware of what he is, but this is what he is. You understand? And Hashem said, put tefillin 2 minutes a day, say Shema Yisrael. Oh, I'm busy. I lose $50. Right? To move the car from a ticket, 6:30 is already up. To come to shul, 9 o'clock he doesn't show up. There's a late minyan, 9 o'clock. Oh, it's too early for me, Rabbi. But when he need to move the car, 6 o'clock is already in the winter coming down, or to take his dog to make. You know, all these people who own dogs, besides the stupidity of owning a dog, because someone who raises a dog in his house brings him a lot of cares into their life, but besides that problem, how don't you understand that from 2 million animals, the Torah said the dog is the worst out of 2 million different animals. The worst, the more impure from everyone is the dog. And I know he's loyal, he's a good pet, he loves his owner, everything we know. The Torah spoke about this. But from purity is the worst. So you are a Jew, the son of God or the daughter of God, with a holy soul, a divine soul, became a servant of the worst animal in the world, and you are proud of it? But You don't know what you do, fine. Ah, I love you. I can't live without him. You know that there's one Jew ordered tefillin for his dogs. Go on YouTube, bar mitzvah to a dog. See that fool holding him. I think everyone should do it. Poor tefillin. Mitzvah number 563. Not to forbid the descendants of Esav from marrying the Jews after they converted for 3 generations. Which means every Goy, every European, American, they're all descendants of Esav. After they converted, you cannot come and tell them, oh, you Ammon, you Moab, and this is different. Descendants of Esav, 3 generations, which means Esav's daughter cannot convert. His granddaughter cannot convert. But the 4th one, like in Egypt, same thing, can convert. You cannot come and say, oh, you're from Esav, forget it, we don't want to hear from you. No, no, no. They paid the price already. Father, son, grandson, over. Mitzvah 564, not to do the same thing I just said to Esav, to the descendants of Egypt. Pharaoh, his son, his grandson, that's it. The rest can convert. Mitzvah number 565, a person that is impure cannot go into the tent, into the place where Moshe Rabbeinu was. It's called Machane Leviah. Right? Over there, the Torah says, Ki yeh bcha ish. What does it mean, not pure? A person that had relation with his wife last night. He did not go into the mikveh yet, so some of the sperm is still on his body. So he's impure. That's why the Hasidim every morning go to the mikveh. They don't know, maybe in the middle of the night, some seed came out, or he was with his wife. Whatever the case is, they don't take risk. First thing in the morning, all of them in a pool. You know, big line, you see right away, they don't miss a day, most Hasidim. Why? They're very strong into purity things. So, it says like this, if a person that is in this situation, lo yavo el toch hamachaneh, he has to be out. He will not come into where the Spirit of God is. It used to be Ezra Sofer that he made a decree that everyone who was with his wife must go to the mikveh before he comes to the synagogue. Cannot pray, cannot put tefillin, nothing. But then he saw that most of the people cannot keep up with the difficulty of this mitzvah. Remember, today you have a $5 million mikveh. You come, smelly towel, beautiful, smell like perfume, come inside, ceramic, mirror. This better than the shower in your home for most people. Live in a tiny box apartment, come to the big, beautiful chandelier, mikveh, this, that. You know, the same thing the women, it's no problem. But what mikveh they had in those days? You have to come with the oil lamp, go in the ground, 50, 100 stairs in the ground, you go like this, snakes, this, a little dirty water, and you go in with all the mud. What do you think? What mikveh they had? Or to go on the ice in Europe, like the Ramchal used to do, walk barefoot, naked, on the ice, take a stick, break a little hole, pieces of ice, and go in. Frozen completely, 20 below zero. This is the mikveh. So it was very, very difficult. So they canceled this decree, because the rule is, אין גוזרים על הציבור גזרה שאינו יכול לעמוד בו. You don't make decrees for the public that they are unable to stand in that decree. If you see that the majority cannot do it, that means the decree was higher than the level of this generation. And naturally it was dismissed, because people could not do it. But a person that cares about his prayer and his purity, you know, he was with his wife, it's very recommended right after, before he goes to pray the next day or the same night, to go into the mikveh. Or at least, minimum, to take a shower with tisha kabin, with too much, like lots of water on him. People can make themselves mikveh in their home. It's not so difficult. You make a bath in a basement somewhere, and you fill it up from natural water. You make a system that the rainwater goes in. One time it's full, that's it. You have a mikveh. You can go in, especially the men. For the men, it's much easier. The woman, she needs a balanit to brush, to clean the ears. It's complicated. But for the men, very easy. And a man, Even a regular pool is good for him. Doesn't need rainwater. If you have a pool in your home, you go in naked, in and out, it's mikveh. For men. Woman, she needs spring water, rainwater, wash and water, rivers, all natural. But men can go into regular pool. Regular pool. All of it from faucet. None of it came from the rain. 100% full from water from the faucet for a man is already good. Some rabbis will get angry when they hear it, but that's the halakha. You know, and they don't want everyone to know it, but it's better to do this than nothing. If you go to a mikveh that it's all natural water, or most of it, 40 se'ah, 40 se'ah, and then they add extra water, then it's better, because that's even good for women. But if you don't have it, you might as well use your pool. You understand? Now, if you take a portable bath and put it in your backyard in a summer and hope that the rain will fill it up, that you can go in, no, it has to be static inside the ground or in a building that's connected to the ground. Not portable. Everything portable receive tum'ah, receive impurity. So that's why if you have an old bath or a refrigerator that you put in your backyard and it got full from rain and you want to take the plates that you purchased from the goy and dip it inside, so it's rainwater, look. No, not allowed. But if you have a hole in the ground and it got full with enough water, then yeah, it's perfect. Even if it's muddy, doesn't matter. We're not talking about clean here. We're just talking to remove the impurity of the goy from the plates. Mitzvah number 566, mitzvah להתקין יד במחנה, which means when you go to a war, you have to make sure there's a bathroom there. Before you go on a war, you have to make sure that all the soldiers have a place that they need bathroom, because it's against the Torah to hold it in. So first thing you worry about is that people have a place to have bathroom that they can go and clean their body. Mitzvah number 567, mitzvah להתקיד יתד במחנה. Every one of the soldiers has to have a, how do you call these things that you stick in the ground when you make a tent, right? There's a piece of metal that goes into the ground and the string is tied to it. What do you call it in English? Spear. Not spear. You know those little things that you stick in the ground? Yetedot. That's what hold the tent. You pull the wires. Spike? Spike. Spike? Could be. I don't know. I'm asking. I don't want to say yeah in the end, because I already have experience with that. I ask one thing, you answer something complete. Then I get hundreds of texts the next day. This is the right word. You're lucky, not you, but sometimes one of my lectures, it looks that all of us are so dumb. I cannot avoid the embarrassment because they all know who I am. But you're lucky that the camera doesn't get, like last shiur, I asked a simple word, nobody knew. A simple English word, nobody knew the word. Baruch Hashem, they didn't know who was my crowd. All right, anyway, so this yated, right, has to be always, when they go to a war, always have to be with them. Why? If a person needs to go to a bathroom, and he cannot go to the bathroom where they put, so he's going to be able to make a hole in the ground, make his bathroom, and cover it. Even the dogs know to cover it. The dogs, look at the dogs. They make, right away, with their back feet, they cover it. This is what the Gemara says. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, it's Gemara in Eruvin, page 18. The Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, אלמלא ניתנה תורה, היינו למדים דרך ארץ מהחתול ומהתרנגול. If we would not get the Torah from Hashem, we would have to learn manners, how to behave from the animals. Every animal will teach us something positive about traits, how to behave. What would we learn from the cat and from the dogs? They go to the bathroom, they cover. What would we learn from the rooster, from the male roosters? Before he has relationship with his wife, half an hour he goes around her and make her happy. Only when she go like this, then he knows now the time started and they get together. Not right away, hey, where are you? I'm in a rush. No, yeah, I still have to put the children to sleep. Right now, I said. That's not good. Force her into bed. It's no holiness. If she gets pregnant, oy vey, what kind of sign you have? Don't be surprised if he beats you up when he's 16. Right? You do against the Torah, you pay the price, like everything else. Mitzvah now, we'll get to 70 and we finish like this. We can do a siyum next Monday, Bezrat Hashem. Mitzvah number 568. If a slave escaped from his master to overseas, he crossed the border of Israel, and a Jew lived in that place where he ran to, and he grabbed him, and he recognized the slave is a slave of his cousin. So come. Oh, come, don't worry, I'll take care of you. Up right away, put a net on him, tie him, let's get him back to my cousin. Not allowed. If it's inside Israel, different story. If he crossed the border, that's it, it's free. Hashem helped him. You cannot return him back to his master. לא נשיבנו אליו, אבל נשחרר אותו. You understand? If he owe money to the master, let's see, the master just bought him 2 days ago and pay $3,000 for him, then you make him pay the price. You make him, listen, you work and you pay the price. But if he ran, you cannot tie him and bring him back. Mitzvah number 569, not to deceive a slave who ran away from his master to overseas. By, like I said, deceiving him, say, come, I'll give you a job by me, I'll give you $1,000 a week, don't worry, you get a good place to sleep. While he's sleeping, you put some spray on him, you put him to sleep, put him inside a bag, bringing him back to his master. That's called deceiving. So you're not allowed. Don't use your Bukharian tricks, be careful. He's running away, so okay, you made it. Then mitzvah number 560, and we'll finish with this. 70. 570. Wow. We have only 43 left. 570. 570, שלא תהיה קדשה מבנות ישראל. קדשה sounds like holy. What does it really mean? A prostitute. Why the Torah say קדשה? Because the Torah always speak in a clean language. The Torah speak always in clean language. So it's called Lashon Sagi Naor. Sagi Naor means in Aramaic, cannot see light. Blind. So what does it mean? This is an expression in Aramaic. Sagi Naor means whatever you say, the opposite is the truth, on purpose. Like I remember when my mother used to get angry at me, she doesn't want to say that I'll die. So she say, may Arafat will die. And I know what she means. You understand the idea? The mother doesn't want to curse her son, so she cursed Hitler. You understand? But I got the point, who she really wanted to curse. But her hands are tight, you know. Same thing over here. They don't want to say a Jewish prostitute. So they say a holy. And everybody understand what it means. That's what we call today sarcastic. But in a respectable way. Sarcasm. So it says like this. לא תהיה קדשה מבנות ישראל. You met a girlfriend, she became your girlfriend, and she's a virgin. And you say to her, listen, anyway, one day we get married. So we have to wait. Don't worry, you trust me, you know, I love you, this, I won't tell anyone. And he made her not a virgin. So now it's chote umachti. He is a big sinner. Besides the karet, that she's nida, that's a horrible thing. It's worse than sleeping with his own mother. When you go with isha nida. That's besides the point. Even if she cheated and went to the mikveh and pretend she's married, went with a hat. Well, I came from Zimbabwe yesterday, and this is the first time I'm in this community, and she put a ring, I'm married. And I said, okay, here, come, use the mikveh. No, so she's pure now. She doesn't have impurity. And now he made a sin with her. Okay, so they got saved from the karet. And still a violation from the Torah. Worse than eating pork. If they give this person to eat pork, you crazy, you offering me pork? I'll die, I won't touch it. But that's a bigger sin. So what does that, now this is called chote umachti. Sinning and making her sin also. Whenever you make a sin in a group, and you are initiating it, everyone's punishment goes to your account as well. Each one of them get one, and you get 5. You are a DJ in a Bukharian wedding, not religious, 400 men and women dance to the singer comes with his mustache and playing beautiful Bukharian music. And what happened? The one who play gets punished for each one of them. Each one has their own sin. But the more crowd he has, the more sins he makes that night. You got it? So much to learn, so much to learn. That's it for today. We're done, Bezrat Hashem. Next week, we have very interesting mitzvot. Hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, next Monday, hopefully, Bezrat Hashem will finish, we'll do Siyum. Siyum is a big thing. Don't miss next Monday, because this is a Siyum. If you come to the Siyum, it counts like you came to all the lecture. You know how it is. That's when we finish in a Gemara, they do Siyum Masechet, they bring l'chaim, wine, cakes. Yeah, we should make a party here, Emil. Make sure, okay? So we'll make a party with Bezrat Hashem. Next Monday we'll finish. But, in general, every time that you come to my lectures, please check in my events, in my website, you have all my lectures. Sometimes there's changes. For instance, if I have to go on emergency to Israel or something, there's no way for me to tell you. So make yourself a habit. Before you come to a lecture, check divineinformation.com, and the top you have events. You check, there's a calendar there, Google Calendar. You see where sometimes there's changes, sometimes there's a special event for whatever reason. So you always check. Most of the 99% of the lecture always on schedule. There's no cancellation, no delay. But if there is unexpected things, you better check. I don't want people to drive, find parking, and in the end, something happens. So make sure. And also, all the people who calls me all the time and text me, where is the lecture? Get it to your head. It's all in there, in a calendar on the website. You don't need to ask. It's right there. It's listed. There are many lectures who are one-time event. Here it's a series, so you know. But some tomorrow there, Brooklyn, places, houses, synagogues. If you don't check, you will never know. It could be across the street from your place and a good subject, and you don't know because you didn't check. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen ve'amen.